Okay, so the kitchen table has to be one of the most used pieces of furniture in the home today. I mean, we do everything there, right? We eat 3 meals a day there. Our kids do their homework there. We do our bills there, have family meetings there. So it just gets tons and tons of use on a daily basis. And with that comes a lot of wear and tear on the furniture, on the tabletop. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to refinish your kitchen or dining tabletop. It's actually a very simple process that can be completed in a weekend. So I'm going to go get some tools. Let's get started. Hey guys, this is Paul with Coastal Upcycling and welcome back to the channel. Now if you like all things painting furniture, refinishing furniture, restoring furniture, subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend. Hit that little bell and you'll be notified the very next time we upload a video to YouTube. Okay, so like I had mentioned earlier, the kitchen table gets a lot of use and abuse. So I'm going to try to break this down to make it as simple as possible. Like I said, you can try to get it done in a weekend. So I'm going to break it down into 3 easy steps, and it's basically going to be, we're going to sand it, we're going to stain it, and then we're going to seal it. And that's pretty much the whole thing. You just need a couple of tools. Some you might already have, some you may have to go pick up, but they're not terribly expensive. And then I'll show you the techniques on how to use those tools and some of those materials like stains and top coats, you know. So let's get going. Okay, so this is our table. Now, I got this table from a client of ours that owns a restaurant downtown here in San Antonio. And although it is a commercial restaurant used tabletop, it's really no different than a tabletop that will be found in any other kitchen in any other family home. It's an oak table. It is solid oak on top, and it's got a couple of drop leaves here. Okay, but the most important thing to focus on is the finish that's up here, or the lack thereof. If you can see here, the finish has basically worn off over years and years and years of use and constant abuse from, you know, patrons and wait staff and all that kind of stuff, and then just the cleaning that goes through with it or gets done with it. The owner told me that they clean these every day with bleach and harsh chemicals. Now, you know, you really don't want to use any type of harsh chemicals on your furniture, but I get it. You know, being a business that you want to try to keep safety first, you know, you're going to want to try to disinfect them as much as you can. But hopefully when we refinish this, we're going to put a new sealant on that's going to be much tougher than the original, and it'll be able to stand up a little bit better to some of the chemicals that they use to help clean these tables. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, for this particular project, we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible, and I broke it down into 3 steps, and I guess it turned out to be the 3 S's, so that's kind of cool. So the 3 S's of refinishing this kitchen tabletop or this dining tabletop would be, first, sanding it. Now you can absolutely get some sandpaper or sanding block and start going at it with a lot of elbow grease, but it's going to take quite a bit of time and effort. So I would really recommend picking up a pretty decent quality Orbital Sander or electric style sander. I like the Orbital Sanders because they do make quick work of taking all of the old finish off. It's just a really easy and versatile tool to work with. You can pick up a tool just like this at any of the home stores for under $100. Okay, so after the sanding, we move on to the next S, which would be, in this particular case, staining it. So we're going to try to match the stain that this currently has right now best we can. But when it comes to staining your own piece, really the sky's the limit. There's all kinds of different shades of, you know, wood tones, you know, browns and blacks. And then you can start actually getting into some fun colors, like there's some reds, blues, whites, greens. I mean, it really, like I said, the sky's the limit when it comes to staining. But on this particular project, we're just going to stay traditional and just do a really simple wood stain that we're going to put some color back onto it. Okay, and then we'll move on to our final S, which would be sealing it. This would be probably the most important step of it, of the whole process. Because the reason why we're doing this is the old stuff just wasn't strong or durable. We want to make sure that we not only use a good quality, strong, durable product, but we want to make sure we put enough of it on that way it's going to withstand a lot of the use that's going to be coming towards it for the next several years. So sealing it, we're going to use an oil-based polyurethane top coat. So that, I prefer the oil-based when I do a project like this because it will seep down and soak into the wood grain, into the fibers, and actually help protect from the inside out. Okay, so I'm going to throw in a bonus 4th S. And this possibly could be necessary if you've got a tabletop that's got a lot of old finish still on it. The 4th S you can put in there is to strip it. So this is a product that I really recommend called Citristrip Varnish and Paint Stripping Gel. Now, I won't go into depth on how to use this product, but you can click on this card above and it'll take you to a video that'll show you a little bit more detail on how to use this product to strip furniture. And you can check that video out later. I get a lot of folks out there that ask the question, what grit sandpaper do you use for refinishing furniture? The most coarse grit that I've used for refinishing furniture has been 120. 120 is actually quite aggressive. If you have a veneered piece or some fine furniture, you may want to stay away from that. And you might want to start a little higher, maybe at 220. So, for this particular piece, because I know that it's solid oak, I feel comfortable going with 120, a bit of an aggressive sandpaper, and then we'll go ahead and work ourselves up to about 220 to finish it off. Okay, so a couple things to remember while you're sanding. One, definitely protect yourself by working in a well-ventilated area and have breathing protection on. And two, I'm not putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the electrical sander here. I'm just kind of letting the weight of the sander do its thing while going back and forth in long, even strokes, going with the grain always. After I finish sanding, I'll wipe down the table with a tack cloth to get rid of all the dust. Okay, next I'm going to apply a pre-stain conditioner. Now this is going to eliminate some of the blotchiness that may occur when staining oak wood. This is very easy to apply. We're just dipping a clean rag into the pre-stain conditioner, rubbing it on, and letting it sit there for about 5 to 15 minutes, wiping down any excess conditioner that may be pooling up. And then we'll go straight to the stain. Now when it comes to staining, you can use any method you feel comfortable with. You can brush it on with a natural bristle brush or a foam applicator pad, but I like to use a clean rag and wipe my stain on. I just feel like I get a more even coat by doing it that way. Feel free to work in small sections at a time if you feel like you can't get the whole table done all at once. Okay, so we have the whole piece stained. We're gonna let that sit for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, but we're not gonna let the stain dry on there because it'll become sticky and tacky, which will make it really hard to take off. So we're gonna let it soak just for a little bit, and then we're gonna come back with a clean rag and then wipe it all off. Okay, so it's time to move on to our protective top coat, and the product that we're gonna use for this particular project is gonna be by General Finishes, and it's called Armor Seal. And we're going to use it in the sheen of satin. So we're going to go ahead and give this a stir. Now I've just used this for a project a couple of weeks ago, but we still want to stir it up because the agent that's in there that helps flatten it or take away some of its sheen, it needs to be redispersed. It can settle to the bottom up there, if you can see that. Get a little closer there. It can settle to the bottom there, so we want to kind of redistribute it throughout the solution there. So just kind of give it a good stir for a couple minutes. Okay, so this table's been sitting in my dusty old shop for 24 hours, so I'm sure it's got some dust on it, so we're gonna go ahead and go over it with a tack cloth, and just to make sure we get it nice and dust free. We don't want any trash or particles in our clear top coat. Okay, so we're going to take our foam applicator brush, we're going to dip it in maybe about a 1/2 inch or so. We're not going to dunk the whole thing in there, just so we can get some sealant on there. And then we're going to come to the edge, not all the way to the edge. You can see that there I left about a 1/2 inch of space. And we're going to start there, we're going to push forward just a bit to get the edge and then come back. Okay, the secret with this is to do a nice, long, even stroke. You're going to run out, just keep going. Okay, and do the same thing again. All right, You can come back to your can and touch up some of the areas that you missed. Okay. And then when you start your new row, you're gonna cover it by 50%. So if you can see the wet edge here, can you put right there? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna put half of the brush on the wet edge and the other half on the dry edge. And then we're just gonna go like that. This will help you get a nice and even coverage. Okay. And then what I like to do is flip it around to the other side. It might have a little bit more, and just kind of do a really light, quick run. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up the table. I started with the leaves down, so we went ahead and lifted the leaves up, and we'll do those next, and we'll let this dry for 24 hours. Okay, so we've got one coat of our top coat sealant on there. We're gonna let that dry for 24 hours. We'll come back and give it a light scuff sanding with some 220 or 320 sandpaper. Wipe that down and we'll give it another coat. We're gonna go with 4 good coats. The can recommends 3. We're gonna do 4 coats just to make sure that we've got plenty of protection on it. Okay, so as a final step, I'm going to go ahead and add some furniture paste wax to the tabletop. This will add another layer of protection to our finish, as well as a nice smooth feel to the top. Okay, so once the wax is applied to the whole tabletop, we're going to let that dry thoroughly for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then we'll come back with a clean rag and buff that out. And that pretty much wraps up the kitchen dining table top refinishing project. We hope you liked this video. Hope you found something useful that you can use in your own refinishing projects. If you have any additional questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to get to each and every one of those. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to it. Definitely share it with a friend. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.